Hello, lost souls. My name is Nyla, and I will be your guide through the abyss. Today, I want to talk about a particular topic that I have seen going on outside of the spiritual community, and it has to do with the spiritual community in general. There's a lot of scams going on out there with, people who get into spirituality. They get really popular really quickly, and then they start making books. And what I want to say about that is that people who make spiritual books and things of that nature, who are on TV constantly, who are constantly promoting themselves online, those are all scam artists. They're all out to feed you a load of bullshit. They are... they're just scam artists. They are not actually interested in spirituality. They're not interested in your highest good. They're not interested in you at all, actually. They're interested in how much money you can give them. That's what they're interested in. And while there is a little bit of truth in everything, including some of these spiritual books, all of it is not true. Not all of it. And you have to wade through the bullshit within the, between the lines of, the commercialization of these spiritual aspects and what actually is. And what we're seeing more and more today is these highly commercialized gurus. They're all fake. They're all fake. They're all out to get your money. A guru, a true guru, is not going to put out merchandise. They're not going to put out books. Unless, unless it's, like a documentary or something. Something that is very personal to them. We see that with the autobiography of Yogananda, right? It's not really, a spiritual book. It is a tale. It's a story of a guru. It's his story. It's his entire life. It's his story. It's not an advice book. It's an autobiography. It's a tale of someone's life. And so we see these books everywhere, right? They're coming out all the time. And you have to be really careful with these types of spiritual books. Even in witchcraft, you have to be careful with them. You have to be able to read between the lines within these books, because there's a lot of misleading information in them. There's a lot of bias, and there's a lot of, personal agenda. There's also an aspect of addiction. These types of books that come from these scam artists will only give you enough information to sate you long enough for them to release another book. Long enough for them to put out another video. Long enough for them to, give you the next dopamine hit. And then you're asking for more and more and more and more. It's an addiction. It's an addiction ploy. It's one of the many ways that consumerism works in society these days, especially online. You know, places like Amazon and whatnot. But you know, as I stated previously, there's a bit of truth in everything. And what I mean by that is that every spiritual practice has a crumb of truth in it. And the rest of it is all personal bias. It's all personal, you know, likes, dislikes, hates, whatever. That's, you know, that's how it works. And you have to sort through you have to sort through all religions. You have to learn from every corner of religion, of spirituality, you know, whatever it is, in order to piece together the entire truth. And what you're looking for is consistency within these spiritual practices. Whatever is consistent within these practices that lines up, that's your crumb of truth. The rest of it is opinion. It's, you know, it's biases. It's, you know, personal truths, and whatnot. And that's just that, you know, that's how it works. That's the way that spirituality is. It's a journey, and you have to learn, you know, to pick apart the pieces of truth from the opinionated fiction pieces, you know. And it's not easy. It's never easy. A lot of us get stuck on, you know, one particular type of spirituality, and then, you know, we look at everybody else, and we start to say, well, they're wrong. I have the true spirituality. I have the true religion. And in reality, you know, you have to understand and study all of it in order to get a better understanding of spirituality, of, you know, higher beings, of God, him or herself, you know. And in doing so, you will also come to understand why people believe the way that they do. You will come to understand humanity better. You will come to understand individuals better. Because even within certain groups of spirituality, you have separations in that group. You know, different types of beliefs for different types of groups. And so the more that you go into these studies, into these practices, and you really, you know, you hunker down and get your mind into it, the more wisdom, the more knowledge, the more information that you can give to other people and to, you know, the entire collective. You know, and this works with understanding people as well. The more you study people's behavior, the more that you are willing to listen and learn, and you know, not be so loud and boisterous. The more that you will learn about people themselves, the more that you will learn about behavior, the more you will learn about, you know, emotions, you know, certain types of body cues. You will learn how, you will begin to understand how, what emotions and thoughts and feelings people are going through when they're writing sentences online. You will learn that as well. You know, the more you observe and the more you study, the more you will realize it and the more you will understand it. And that's what I've done for years now, which is why I am so good at um, knowing and perceiving the types, the way that things are going to progress when somebody is typing out a sentence online, or when somebody makes a video. I can tell, you know, by the way that they talk, by the way that they speak, um, you know, the hesitations, the going back on themselves, all of that. It tells me exactly the direction that that channel or that person is going into and their mindset, you know, where their mindset is actually at. And so lying, to me, is not that hard to spot at all. Even in people who are very calm when they're lying, I can spot the differences, you know, between when somebody is being genuine and when somebody is, you know, using their words what's the word? To gaslight, you know, somebody into thinking that they're being genuine. And I can tell all of this, you know, especially on YouTube. When it comes to certain channels, you know, they will say one thing and then they will do another. You know, and I will bring concrete shamanism back into this video because it's been, you know, that's been one of the top examples as of recently. And I harbor no hate or, you know, ill will towards the two of them that do concrete shamanism, you know, Merrick and Patrick. I just think that they've lost their path. I think they've gone off the path, you know. They veered off into the abyss without a guide, and they're lost. So I don't hate them. I don't, you know, you know, I'm not looking to, you know, cause them any grief at all. I'm just disappointed with the way that things have gone with them. And what I mean by that is they talk a lot about shamanism, you know, and they talk a lot about, you know, being sober and freeing your mind and, you know, all of this stuff. But, you know, from what I've seen on the channel lately, Patrick is addicted, has a nicotine addiction. He's not actually sober. They are currently commercializing shamanism, which is a sacred practice, by selling hats and hoodies and whatnot. They're calling it a lifestyle rather than, you know, practice. It's not a lifestyle. It's not part of who you are. Your spirituality is not your personality. And it is certainly not your fashion statement either. Although, you know, some people like to dress the way that they practice. I know that in witchcraft, a lot of, you know, dark robes and, you know, pentacles and things like that. But they don't make it their entire personality the way that concrete shamanism has made it their entire personality. And on top of that, you know, the promotion of, like I've said in the previous video, conspiracy theories, pseudosciences, you know, whatever it might be. It tells me that that channel is headed in a path that is not morally correct, in my opinion. And I could be wrong, but I don't think that I am. And, that is still my opinion. As I said, I could be completely wrong. But the red flags are there, and they keep coming, and they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. Back to the rules, and I hit the ground running, right? So, what that tells me is that channel is trying to commercialize itself the way that many of these other scam spiritualists have been doing for decades now. And I talked about the video that I watched in the previous video that I made about the law of attraction being a corporate scam. And concrete shamanism is just following in their footsteps, which is not surprising because they constantly reference Teal Swan and Eckhart Tolle, which is another rabbit hole that, if you choose to go down, I would caution you to brace yourself on that. It is not pretty at all. And so, that's what this video really comes to is, there is truth, a crumb of truth, a millimeter, a centimeter of truth in every type of spirituality. And then you have everything that's outside of that truth that becomes, commercialization, becomes bias, becomes opinion, becomes, what people want to transform it into in order to make a quick buck, or to please their egos, or to please their inner godlike complex. There's a lot of god complex in the New Age spirituality that is currently going on, and it's not really healthy, and it's not really a good look for the spiritual community in general. And so that is why I chose to walk away from it. That's why I've chosen to not implement certain types of practices that come from the awakening. The idea of awakening anyway. It's not really awakening, because awakening is, just... The awakening is just clarity and realization of what is reality. What our reality really is. It is not some big, fancy, mystical hoo-ha. It's nothing, super mysterious, or, it's not like enlightenment. It's not even close to enlightenment. Awakening is just a stepping stone on the door of enlightenment. Is basically what it is. The awakening is just when you snap out of it and you realize what is really going on in the world, what is really going on in society, what is really going on with the matrix. That is the system we live in. That's the awakening. And there's nothing more to it, And while I do believe in some aspect of being one with source energy, with God, with the spirits, and with other people, there's also an aspect of that going around in the awakened community that is just completely a God complex. And it's nothing more than a God complex. Which is really sad. It's really sad. It's really disheartening to see people fall this deeply into the abyss of their ego and not, realize what's happening to them. To not realize how deep they're falling, under the ocean, into the massive open ravine that is below them. And a lot of people are not going to admit to themselves that they're falling into the ravine, deep down into the ocean. They're not going to admit that their oxygen tanks are pulling them down below the water, where they can't get back up. And it's not easy. Not easy to admit it. But on that note, there we go. We all have to admit it at some point, and we all have to come to terms with the reality of the situations that we're going through. And karma, karma gets us all. If we don't, if we choose not to come into the realization of these truths. So, eventually, it's going to hit concrete shamanism like a brick wall. And they're going to realize their mistake, one way or another. As we all will eventually realize our mistakes with these false spiritual gurus, with the commercialization of spirituality and spiritual practices. They will all come to their karma eventually. But yeah, that's what I wanted to discuss for the day. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below. Leave a comment down below as well. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Hope this video has earned your subscription. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.